Welcome to the Schlegel Design Remodel Podcast. I'm Amy Gerard, and today we're welcoming Jan Burchett, the Executive Director of Kansas City's National Association of the Remodeling Industry, or as we call it, NARI, to our show. She has been the Executive Director for over 25 years, and she not only knows the ins and outs of the remodeling industry, but she knows all the movers and shakers in Kansas City. So if you have a question on remodeling, Jan is your go-to. Jan has also hosted a weekly remodeling show, the NARI Home Time Radio, for the past 4 years. So as you will hear, she sounds much better than me. Jan, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Amy. I think you sound pretty good though. So
I don't know if I have a radio voice, but we're trying.
I was told I have a radio voice, but then they never paid me. So I guess I don't have that good of a voice.
You were at the wrong place, apparently. All right. So Jan, as we had kind of discussed, basically we want our listeners to understand what NARI is and what the benefits are. So first, can you explain to us what the National Association of the Remodel Industry is?
NARI is the National Association of the Remodeling Industry, and we're a nonprofit trade organization. So we are nonprofit, not like a charitable organization, but we're on the other side, trade organization. NARI has its headquarters in a suburb in Chicago, and there are 36 chapters across the U.S., all focused on the professional residential remodeling industry. And I always like to tell folks, the Kansas City NARI chapter has a vision and a mission, and we are the premier resource for the remodeling industry and its consumers. And our mission is to support member-focused education and encourage business relationships. So we are there for the professional remodeling industry with educational programs, networking events, social programs, anything and everything to get people together to benefit the professional remodeler.
So a lot of hands in a lot of buckets.
We do have a great organization and amazing members and volunteers. I love the fact that in this industry, people don't see another contractor or another subcontractor as competition. They see them as a valuable asset to get to know, to share business solutions, to share business problems. And again, the adage is that there's plenty of business to go around. Right. So yeah, it's a great organization, and it's fun to watch the members who are competitors talk with each other, brainstorm with each other. So it's a great industry, great organization.
That is interesting because that's not something you see too often, is competitors actually sharing some business secrets.
Yeah.
But that that is advantageous for us remodelers, but also for the customers. I mean, if we're sharing the things that work and that don't work, that's also advantageous to the people that are hiring us. So that's good all the way around.
And our focus, while we focus internally on our members for networking and education and social events, we also have that focus for the consumer. And our goal is always to educate the consumer about the remodeling process and to educate the consumer about how to hire and why you should hire a professional and why you shouldn't hire Chuck in the truck that doesn't have insurance and doesn't have a vested interest in making sure his company is running like a professional business.
You just segued right into my next question, which is, why should you look to hire a NARI member when you're looking to remodel your home? And you talked a little bit about that, not hiring Chuck in the truck, but right. Why not specifically?
Experience, expertise, that they make sure that they have the correct license, that they make sure they pull the correct permit, that they make sure that they listen to you and do what is best in your interest, not just in the interest of them making money. And again, there's so many people that are in this industry, and some of them are part-time and some of them are full-time, and some of them change their company name often, which is a big red flag. But I think that you need to hire a company that does this for a living, does it 24/7, has a passion. And that's the one thing I love about NARI members. They love what they do. They love remodeling. They're not doing it just to pass the time and get a paycheck. They're passionate about that. And I think you would know that by looking at your company. You guys love what you do, or you wouldn't be doing it.
It's true. I mean, there's ups and downs, but as a whole, I think everyone that I work with loves what they're doing.
Yeah, for sure. And again, a contractor license, continuing education, pulling permits. That's also a big thing where consumers like to say, "Hey, I'll just pull the permit myself," and we're like, "Don't do that." That's a liability that a homeowner is going to take on if they pull the permit for their project and don't have a professional contractor pull it. And then insurance, that's a big thing we talk about all the time too. It's like, hey, when you hire somebody, Chuck in the truck, who doesn't have insurance, and his big ladder goes through your beautiful bay window in the front of the house, if he doesn't have insurance to pay for that damage, I don't know, you may be out some money. So insurance, licenses, continuing education, and then NARI sets it aside and says our members will abide by a code of ethics. And our code of ethics is pretty broad and general, but it talks about being honest in your advertising and sales promotion, writing contracts and warranties so that they comply with all the laws, promptly acknowledging and taking appropriate action on all customer complaints, because we also know from the TV shows that there are bad contractors out there that took the money and ran, or started the project 3 weeks in and we haven't seen them in 6 weeks. Refraining from any act that would suppress competition, making sure you have the right insurance, making sure you have the right licensing, and taking action to preserve the health and safety of your employees, your trade contractors, your clients, and the public. So it's a good code of ethics, and it's something that's important to us as an organization. And it does say that our members are pledged to observe high standards of honesty, integrity, and responsibility in the conduct of business. So it's a good thing too that that code of ethics is also important.
That is important. This industry gets a bad rap.
We do get a bad rap, and
we
you know what?
do. And unfortunately, we see why we get the bad rap. Like we go into those projects that you feel terrible for homeowners. So when you hire an area member, you know that they're licensed. That's a guarantee. And you know that they're following a code of ethics and they're doing the best they can do to represent their business and the industry in your home. So that's pretty darn important.
It is. But I also like to tell people too that you should look to hire someone that you like and that you feel comfortable with. And I tell people it's a gut feeling. And again, there's a lot of great contractors, but maybe the personality of contractor A doesn't match your personality, but maybe contractor B is maybe better. I just say hire someone you like, someone you trust, someone that you know is going to get to know you pretty darn personal over the next 6 weeks, 6 months, whatever it takes to get your project done. So you got to like your contractor too. And I think that's very important.
Right. Like they get to know your kids and your schedule and your dog. And it's pretty important you like them.
That's exactly right. And those are the kind of things that it's hard for me to, oh, I just took the cheapest bid and hired them. I'm like, no, don't do that. Look outside of that. So I always give those, those ideas of like them, interview them, make sure the contractor is listening to you and asking questions. Oftentimes you'll hear, and this could be an area contractor, hopefully it's not, that comes in and says, oh, I see your kitchen, here's what I want to do with it. Instead of saying, hey, Mrs. Homeowner, what do you want to do with your kitchen? What's your dream? What do you want to have this kitchen perform for you? And so I think listening skills, communication skills, and contracts are also extremely important. Scheduling is extremely important. I mean, there's just a lot of things that a professional remodeling contractor does that some of the other folks aren't going to do because they aren't doing it full time, or they don't have the office staff and the people to make sure it's all getting done the right way.
Sure. That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you want to find a NARI contractor, how do you go about doing that? And you said there's 37 branches in the United States, right?
36 chapters in the US,
okay.
From California to East Coast, Texas, Minnesota. So 36 different chapters. We also do have members at large, and members at large would be a company, for instance, in Jefferson City, Missouri, that may be a NARI member, but they're not close enough to be a chapter member. So they're called a member at large. So there are members outside of the chapter level Kansas City NARI covers the Kansas City metro area, both state lines, the 7 or 8 counties that are in the metro area. But if you were in Jefferson City, you might find a NARI member at large, which means they're a NARI member, but they don't have a chapter affiliation because they're not close enough to have a chapter.
Okay, I was going to ask because that's not quite every state. So if you
Correct.
wanted to find a NARI contractor, you still might be able to find one, just not in a local chapter.
Correct. That's
okay.
correct.
And if you do want to find one in the Kansas City area, you guys have your own website, right? That they can come and see a list of everyone.
We do. So remodelingkc.com, and we have a great area for homeowners. We show the Remy Award winners. We talk about the remodeled homes tour. We do some blogs and some great articles on like a remodeling checklist and how to, if you're ready to remodel, here's some things you need to check to make sure you're ready for those. But we also have our members listed by specialty. So if you're wanting to remodel your kitchen, you would type in kitchen remodeling. If you're interested in window treatments, you'll type in window treatments, and you can find NARI members by their specialty.
Awesome. Yeah.
And I think here's the thing, Amy, I tell people, when you talk about remodel, for some people, they're thinking, oh, I don't want to remodel my kitchen. I just want to get new countertops. Well, somebody in NARI can do that. But because I say inside, outside, all around the house, somebody in NARI can help you. We have roofing contractors, we have landscapers, we have concrete folks, we have garage door companies, window treatments, flooring, HVAC contractors, plumbers, electricians, and then, of course, full service general contractors who can do it all, or maybe niche contractors who say, all I do is outdoor living. That's all I do. So there's a lot of variety in the NARI membership. We have about 320 company members. And I think, I have to be honest, the only thing we don't have is we don't have a company that installs in-ground pools. So if you want an in-ground pool, we can help you.
That was a hot commodity last year.
It was. And you know what? According to the statistics, it's still hot and people are waiting anywhere from, I don't know, 6 months to 24 months to get their pools installed based on the need from last year and the fact that there's a labor shortage and a material shortage and all sorts of fun things.
So if you're a pool installer and you're listening, this is your chance to one up your competition.
That's right. That's right.
So from end to end, anything that touches your house, you can find a NARI member to help with that.
That's correct.
Okay, so spinning around, we at Schlegel have 18 certified team members. Can you explain to us what a NARI certification is and why you put importance on that?
The NARI certification program is a national program, so it's not administered locally, but it is an amazing program where members want to take that extra step, want to get the continued education. They want to say, I'm a certified remodeler. I'm a certified lead carpenter. I'm a certified kitchen and bath remodeler. I'm a certified universal design certified professional. I'm a certified remodeling project manager. And these programs are administered by the NARI headquarters. You form a study group either in person at your chapter level or online on a webinar. And you take anywhere from an 8 to 12 week class. You study materials together in a group setting, and then you take a written test. And the written test can be hard. I know in certain cases, people said, boy, that was a hard test. And other people like, that was pretty easy. But you take a written test, you have to pass it by a certain percentage. And then you have to maintain that certification by keeping continuing education hours every year. And so it's really cool that Schlegel has 18. Is that what you said?
I believe it's the 18.
Awesome.
Yeah. And they're already trying to figure out who else is not certified in something.
Yeah. So it's a great national program. It's interesting because it is individual. So it's not the company that's certified. It's Chris Peterson,
right.
Charlie Schlegel, etc. Those people maintain their certifications, but it's a great thing. That's another thing. We can't say to a consumer, you have to hire a company with a certified professional on staff. But I think it's a plus one for a company if they have certified individuals on staff.
Absolutely. And I know everyone on our team that has one uses it in their title on their closing of their
Exactly.
email. And it's kind of like if you're an accountant and you have a CPA, right? It's
That's
the
correct.
next level of expertise.
That is correct. That is correct. So it's a great program, and we're always looking to form local study groups. This fall, we are going to do a certified lead carpenter study group, and we're going to do a certified remodeling project manager study group. And then again, we'll get the people into this office. They'll study together. They'll look at the materials. Then they'll take a written test, and hopefully they'll pass. And then they'll maintain that certification with continued education credits every year.
It's a lot, but it's worth it, I think. I mean, I think everyone that has them on our team has worked to continue them and keep them up.
Exactly. And I think that's the other thing that we talk about in NARI. A certified member is one of those people that probably you'll never see them leave the industry or leave the organization that they're employed by or leave NARI because they see that value.
Yeah, they're vested.
Yeah, it's ongoing value. So.
All right. I think I already said this, but working in remodeling it's a little bit of a roller coaster ride, especially in the last 15 years. You know, you've got your really big highs and your really big lows. And can you tell us where we are today from where you're standing and seeing the Kansas City market as a whole? Can you give us a little this is what we see in remodeling right now?
We're at the top of the roller coaster. We're excited, and then we're going to go down.
Got our arms up.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So the industry has seen a lot of ups and downs back in 2007, 2008, 2009. It was a tough thing for the home building industry, but also the residential remodeling industry. And I always tell folks the companies that survived that thrived. They had to work really hard to survive that, but they thrived. And we did lose some members because they went out of business because they couldn't handle that. And then it got crazy and COVID came, and this industry was an essential business. So it was deemed essential so that the industry didn't have to shut down, like unfortunately, like the hotels and the restaurants and the concert venues did. But that also then brought in a higher demand for remodeling because folks were stuck at home and they said, I'm not going to put up, my kids need to be in one part of the house while I'm at work in the other part of the house.
Forget this big one room. I need something else.
Yes. Or this kitchen does look as old as it is. We need to remodel. Or, hey, because we're not going to travel as much, we need an outdoor living oasis where we can spend time. So it became apparent that people wanted to remodel, and those that could would. But then again, as you know, we have a labor shortage. And then on top of the labor shortage, all the material shortages started happening. So appliances, you would order appliances and you'd get them in a couple weeks, maybe 6 weeks at worst. Now it's like your appliances will be here in 3 to 6 months. And you're like, what? So it's been tough. And then the price of lumber has gone sky high. And I know all these things are going to come down and get back to normal, but I don't know that it's going to be anytime soon. I think they're projecting that probably 2022 is still going to be a tough year, and hopefully by 2023 we'll be back to normal, whatever that means. So labor shortage, material shortage, and that's the other thing we've always told consumers. If your contractor tells you you can start tomorrow, that's a red flag, because a red flag is they don't have enough work to keep them busy. But realistically, today, in today's world, your contractor may say, I can get to your kitchen in January, or you want your kitchen done before Christmas, it will probably not happen. So you got to be patient. You got to be flexible. And I think the biggest thing a consumer should do is do your homework. Think about what you want to change in your house. Go look at products in showrooms. Think about who you want to hire. Find a NARI member, ask a neighbor, ask a relative, who did you use? Why did you like them? Why did you not like them? So do your homework. and then be patient because it's not going to be a quick overnight remodel.
Yeah, we've kind of said that too. If you hear of someone that says I can start next month, maybe research that a little bit deeper,
That's
because
right. Right.
all the people that we're hearing from, it's next year at some point.
It is. And again, when I always like to do my red flags. My red flag is if that contractor says I can start next week and I need 50% down, red flag. Don't hire them. So
Yeah, but it's a great warning, because sometimes it does seem, if it sounds too good, it probably is. Like if
Right.
it's really affordable and they can start right now and materials are ready.
Right.
Yeah.
And the other thing, we talk about HGTV, and sometimes in this industry, people say, oh my gosh, HGTV is the best thing that ever happened. And other people say it's a problem. But the people that say it's good is it brought remodeling to the forefront. It showed people what they could do with their house. It was unrealistic in the fact that it's like, it really doesn't take an hour to remodel your kitchen, and you really can't remodel your kitchen for $5,000.
Right.
But it gave people at least a reality of looking at, oh my gosh, look at the before, look at the after, look what can happen.
Right. It changed the game in design. I mean, you used to have your standard honey oak cabinets, and that was, some people got crazy and put white in. But back in the 90s, I mean, when my dad was a builder, I remember those are what you had. And today there's hundreds of options of just cabinets, not even
Just cabinets.
Yeah, not even fixtures or floors.
And I think that's the beauty of hiring a professional, either a company like Schlegel Design Remodel that has a design build process where you actually have designers in-house, and other NARI companies who actually work in partnership with a designer. The beauty of hiring a professional is they give you options. And if they know you're a person like Jan Burchett who can't make decisions, here's your options on your countertops versus, I mean, if you think about
oh my gosh,
cabinets,
no,
it never ends. You could be looking for days and weeks.
Well, and even where to start to find a cabinet provider. I mean, that alone is a decision.
Well, and then is it a box cabinet or a custom cabinet? Or is it in between a box and a custom, which that's just another story.
Right. And this is my price range, and I don't know if we meet here. Like, again, when you hire a company that's what they do, you can say, this is the budget I need to work in. And okay, well, these are your two options in that budget.
Well, I think that's another good thing, Amy, that we always need to remind people is you ought to have a budget in mind. And you can't have it specific, but you have to have some type of range, because again, a basic kitchen remodel where they just come in and maybe paint the cabinets and put in the new countertop is totally different than blowing out the whole kitchen, redoing the layout, changing everything, the footprints. There's big differences, 8,000 to 80,000, 80,000 to 250,000. There's just a lot of options.
Yeah, there are. And that's important to think too, is going in with a budget, and also knowing your budget might not always be realistic, because
that's right. And
I think even from last year to this year, like, we have to kind of reevaluate, how much is this worth to me at this moment in time, given the different cost increases we're seeing and material shortages. So,
right. And a good contractor will work within your budget, or be realistic with you about your budget, or say, I'm probably not a good fit for you. Maybe I could find another person that may be willing to work within your budget. So it's a lot of work to do a remodel, but I think in the long run, it's always exciting to come home to your new master bathroom, your new kitchen, and go, this is amazing.
I'm really lucky doing marketing at the company at Schlegel, because I get to often bring the photographer in and see the finished product and talk to that homeowner when they're at their happiest. Everyone's out of their home and they have their house back in their beautiful new space. But I have yet to meet someone who says, I wish we wouldn't have done that. The response is always, I wish we would have done this sooner. Even after they paid that final bill, they say that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I was thinking about your roller coaster question about the industry. We also tell consumers, that the remodeling process is like a roller coaster. You're
Totally.
really excited and you get on the roller coaster and you're ready to go. And then the dust happens and the delay happens and the cabinets didn't get ordered right, or they knocked out a wall. And guess what? There's some issues with electrical or plumbing that have to be fixed. And then you're like, oh my gosh. But then they start to paint and they add the cabinets and countertops. So it is a roller coaster.
It is. I think there's some diagram in our folders on a drive that actually outline kind of here you're really happy and here it starts coming down, like when they're framing, and yeah, so it's interesting.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're almost out of time, but I have one more question, and you referenced it when we talked about the industry today, but labor shortages, they're not new right now. That has been around for a while in remodeling, because I think of 2008 and a lot of people exited and we haven't seen a lot return, but it seems to be very exacerbated this year. I know you guys have done something to try to help alleviate that. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So in 2016, we started the Futures Fund, which is a charitable foundation. It's an arm of the Kansas City NARI chapter, specifically focused on workforce development. And what we've been doing is we've been raising money, and then we are giving it to local construction trades programs at the high school and the community college level. And we help those construction trades programs with material purchases, safety equipment purchases, the ability to send some of their students to some training, field trips, those type of things. And realistically, in all school districts, there's a limited amount of money. And realistically, probably the football program gets tops and then it funnels down from there.
It's so true.
So construction trades programs, we are helping them. We are supporting them. We also are sending people into the classroom to tell folks this is a great industry. And if you're not ready for college or you're uncertain what your future is, this is a great industry to be in. And NARI has success story after success story of folks that did not go to college or tried it and didn't like it. And now they are very successful in a company, or they're business owners and very successful. So it's a great industry, and there's a lot of on the job, hands-on training. I think the one thing I always like to tell folks about this industry is if you're not a people person, it may not be the industry for you, because you are dealing with a consumer in their home with their kids, with their dogs, and you need to like people. But no 2 days will be the same, and it's a great place to grow a career. So our workforce development committee, along with the Futures Fund, works with the local school districts to try and tell the story and tell kids, hey, there's an industry waiting for you if you want to try it.
I love that. I love that you guys are trying to keep it exciting and fresh and get to people get to the youth when they're trying to make those decisions. Because as we know, a lot of people do even go on to college and still don't know what they want to do. Or maybe people like me who, am I doing what I'm going to do the rest of my life? Are we adults yet? I don't know.
Right. It's a great industry. Again, you will not be behind a cubicle sitting behind a computer doing stuff. You'll be doing a lot of different things, and you've got to work your way into the industry too. But most of the companies in NARI are willing to take you and put you under their wing and train you and let you see that there's a great potential for a career in this industry.
Yeah, I think it's a great start, and there's a lot of growth potential there. And I just wanted for you to share that, because I think it's pretty cool.
It is. We just got to keep talking the story and walking the walk and telling kids that this is a great industry to be a part of. So
yeah, and it's busy. There's a lot of work, so come on over.
There is. And no two projects are the same. So it's not a cookie cutter industry, which I love to tell folks. Mrs. Smith's kitchen won't look like Mrs. Jones' kitchen. There may be some similarities, but it'll all be uniquely done based on size, based on finished materials. So it's always a fun industry. And as you know, Amy, in this industry, new products are happening all the time. New colors. There's so many colors on the color palette. It overwhelms me too. How many different names can you call white?
Oh my gosh, you have to have a book just on white paint colors. The whole book. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Jan, that is a lot of information today. So thank you for taking the time to go through all that and telling us about NARI and what NARI is doing today for both remodelers and people in the remodeling industry and our clients, the consumers out there, as well as future remodelers. So touched on a lot of things, but I really appreciate you taking the time to do that with us today.
I enjoyed it immensely, and I always say go to remodelingkc.com and search that website and figure out who you might want to call to do your next remodeling project.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.